We're going to continue our discussion of multi-channel retailing by talking about some of the benefits of the largest retail channels and also the challenges of those same channels. We didn't talk a lot about the definition of a store channel, and that's because I'm fairly certain that most of you have been inside a retail store in your lifetime and probably even within the last month or week or maybe days. When we talk about the store, it does provide quite a few unique benefits that other retail channels do not provide. The first being the fact that you can touch and feel the products in the store. Nothing beats being able to smell a candle or try on a bathing suit. Even with the 360-degree views that we have online, it's still not the same as feeling the fabric, smelling the scent, or looking at how something is on before you buy it. Another benefit of a store channel that you really can't get or have difficulty getting in other channels is the personal service. Salespeople are present in the store to provide advice and offer recommendations. A lot of other channels have tried to offer this, especially the retail channel with pop-up chat boxes, but it's still not the same as talking and interacting with a live person in the store. There's great risk reduction when you look at the store channel. And what I mean by risk reduction is that it's very easy to increase customer confidence that any problems with the purchase will be corrected. If it's too small, they can return it. If it's too large, they can return it. If they find a hole in it, they can return it. There's usually a risk of running into issues with simple problems that can be fixed in the store much easier than through going through another channel. Also, there's risk reduction because you can get usage instructions in a store. Think about an electronic item. When you go to buy a camera or a video camera from a category specialist such as Best Buy, you can often get usage instructions in the store from a sales associate before you leave. That way there's no risk of going home and getting the product and not being able to use it properly. With a store, you get immediate gratification. This is a benefit that cannot be replicated through any other channel. If you have a medical issue, you don't want to wait to get your medication by ordering it online and waiting 7 to 10 days for it to arrive. You want to go to the store and get that Dayquil or NyQuil immediately so that you can get some sleep, stop sneezing, stop coughing, clear up that itchy throat, whatever it might be. What happens if you forget grandma's birthday and you have to go by her house this evening? Can you order a card online or order a gift online? No, it's very easy to walk into a store, pick up a product, and run to grandma's house and still be able to get her that gift on her birthday. With the store, you get entertainment and a social experience. You can shop in store with your friends or your parents. You can also break up the workday by going into a store on your lunch break. That entertainment and social experience is easily provided in a store setting. It's much harder to achieve in an internet or catalog or direct response TV setting. And finally, cash payment. A store is the only channel that accepts cash as a form of payment. And even though a majority of consumers have moved to not carrying cash, there's a lot of consumers that actually still use cash and sometimes only use cash when making purchases. And so they will go to the store because that is where it accepts the cash payment. Now, let's talk about some benefits of the internet channel. On the internet, the consumer can often get a much deeper and a much broader selection of merchandise. Stores and catalogs are limited by their physical size. More colors, sizes, and brands are available online, which really helps satisfy consumer demand. You can easily generate more customers and a wider variety of customers on the internet than you can in a store setting. The amount of information available on the internet is much more ample than in any other channel. Think about what we talked about earlier. 75% of consumers are going online to look for information before they make a purchase. Why not just make the purchase online? The amount of information available can really guide people to a purchase on the internet. Personalization. Sometimes you can get personalization in the store, but it's easiest to get it through an internet channel. Look around the room you're sitting in right now. How many items do you have with your initials on it? How many items do you have with the name or initials of an organization that you're a part of on it? Most of those merchandise items were probably personalized and purchased through the internet channel. The internet channel also allows you to format information side by side to compare items. While you can do that in store, it's easiest to see that information side by side in front of you on your computer screen. The internet allows for an expanded market presence for the retailer. It's impossible to have store locations everywhere, unless maybe, you're Walmart or McDonald's, right? But think about independent retail boutiques that sell clothing. They might have one physical store location, but they're able to sell their merchandise nationwide with the help of the internet channel. The internet has an improved shopping experience for the customer. So even though the benefit of the store channel is that the customer can get an experience or they can get a social interaction, the benefit of the internet channel is that we're improving the overall shopping experience. On the internet, retail sites can often hold and store purchase information and history for specific customers. So if you need to go in and order more or a complimentary product, the internet has your previous information stored, and it's much easier for you to have an improved shopping experience. Clickstream data also helps retailers understand shoppers and how they navigate the shopping experience. Therefore, giving each individual consumer who visits their website a specific click-through path to get to the merchandise they're more apt to purchase much quicker. It's very cool what data can do for online shopping. Another benefit of the internet channel, when we talk specifically about the mobile channel, is mobile apps. Many retailers now are creating apps that you can get to their shopping experience without even going on the internet. Apps are designed to specifically improve the customer's shopping experience on a small screen. Think about the times you've been to a retailer's website and it hasn't been modified for mobile. It's a very, very tragic experience. And so apps have helped design the mobility, right, of being able to navigate some of those different retail experiences. I'd like you to take a second and pull out your cell phone and look at how many retail apps you have. How many of you have the Amazon app, Target app, Redbox? How many of you have Pandora? Are they a retailer? They are a service provider. I counted on my phone this afternoon, and I actually have 13 different retail apps on my cell phone. So something for you to think about. When you shop online, how much time do you spend browsing versus buying? And when you shop in a store, how much time do you spend browsing versus buying? I'd like you to take a minute and think about why the process is different for both of those channels. What about each of those experiences causes you to browse or buy faster or slower? We've spent some time talking about the benefits of shopping in the two largest retail channels. But let's talk about some challenges facing these multi-channel retailers. It's obviously beneficial for a retailer to operate in multiple channels. But what challenges do they face? One of the challenges that retailers face in a multi-channel setting is how they can integrate the shopping experience. And what I mean by that is that customers are starting to demand a seamless shopping experience across all channels. And some store-based retailers have different operations teams managing the different channels, which creates hiccups in the process for the customer. A customer should be able to receive the same service levels, the same product availability in all channels. Another issue is that consistent brand image. Customers should recognize the brand regardless of where they shop and how they get their information. So making sure your colors align on your website with how they look in the store, making sure that the fonts you use on your website are the same types of fonts that you use in the store, making sure that the logo looks exactly the same. Those are all very important in creating a consistent brand image across channels. Merchandise assortment. Now this is a big challenge. It's very difficult for a retailer to really figure out whether or not they're stocking too much inventory in their warehouses to accommodate for online internet shoppers. Normally, retailers have a different assortment on their online channel, their internet channel, than they do in the store channel. Another issue with merchandise assortment is restocking returns. It's often much more difficult in catalog and internet channels than it is in the store. How do you handle returns if you're an internet retailer and a store retailer? What happens if people who purchase items online try to return those to the store? That can create a lot of inventory issues for the retailer that they have to deal with. Pricing is a challenge. Customers expect prices to be the same across all channels. But retailers often have to set different pricing on the internet than they do in the store. And why is that? It's because there's channel-specific competition and channel-specific costs. Let's think about a retailer in Milledgeville. A retailer in Milledgeville of Lowe's. Okay? Their prices in the Milledgeville store might be a little lower than the national average because Milledgeville in general has a lower income of the population. Now, what happens if you go to Lowe's website? It's a national site. Right? So prices could potentially be higher to accommodate income levels nationwide. But let's think about now we're online and we're competing with Amazon.com. Amazon.com is known for low prices. So how do we stay competitive in our pricing across all channels? The last challenge we're going to talk about is channel migration. Channel migration happens when a customer searches for information on one channel and they make their purchase through another channel. So the most common example of this is searching for information online and then going to your favorite retailer and making a purchase in store. One issue that's becoming increasingly prevalent in the retail industry is what we call showrooming. Showrooming happens when a customer does a search in-store and then goes online to look for the cheapest price. It's very difficult for a retailer to ensure that they're going to maintain the customer through the channel migration process. So for example, oftentimes a customer will walk into an appliance store or an electronics store such as Best Buy, and they'll test out all the models because they can physically hold them, touch them, and use them in the store. And then they look at the price in that store, they go home and they get on their computer, and if you've done all of your testing you're experiencing in a Best Buy, yet then you make the purchase from Amazon.com or a local camera shop through their internet channel, Best Buy has now used their resources to teach you about the product, to show you the product, and now they've lost you as a customer. So how retailers manage channel migration is an interesting challenge. So speaking of challenges facing multi-channel retailers, here's a question for you. Should a multi-channel retailer offer the same assortment of merchandise for sale at the same price on its website and in its stores? Why or why not? So we're really looking at the assortment and the price and trying to understand what would be a good scenario for a retailer to offer the same and what might be a scenario where the retailer would want a different assortment or different prices in their channels. This concludes our conversation on Chapter 3.